Allison, day one and mixed reviews. While some people say it absolutely makes them feel safer, it does put the burden on businesses that have been struggling already for the last 2 years. Doctors locally are seeing a handful of patients, and the suggested treatment is called olfactory training. Think physical therapy, but for your senses. A lot of positives and certainly a lot of hope surrounding this team. And look, I even talked to a Cubs fan tonight inside that bar, and he said, I'm behind the Sox. Let's all get behind them and give the city something to celebrate. We saw several groups of people gathering in this parking lot, and those are people who have loved ones down inside this mall. I actually have someone with me. This is Rich. He's from Elmhurst. His wife, son, and his son's friend were in the movie theater. Rich, how'd you hear about this, and are they okay?
Yeah, they're okay.
So you immediately made contact with her, you texted her, and how did she respond? And you had a conversation with another child, correct? That these things aren't supposed to happen around Christmas. How traumatizing something like this is for a family.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right?
Rich, thank you. We are so glad your family is safe. We appreciate you weighing in and giving us your information. We will be out here continuing to have conversations like we just had with Rich and try to learn as much as we can, try to get those facts to you. For now, back to you in the studio, Rob.
Quite a day, Lexi.
Oh, man, and the reactions are just across the board. There is anger, sadness, heartbreak, confusion, and the list goes on. Since Friday night, more than 20 people have been shot, 4 dead. That includes a 17-year-old boy. Leaders making a plea specifically to young people. Yeah, Michelle, you're exactly right. We did have that brief hiatus in mask wearing, but a rising number of cases in the city, and of course, that highly contagious Delta variant means masks are back for anyone over the age of 2, and that's regardless of if you are vaccinated.
For our own Lexi Sutter.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited.
We're so excited that you're here and that you're repping us at NBC 5. So tell us, it's obviously going to be a little bit different this year, right?
Super different. Because of the virus, you can't have 800 people in a room. Yeah. So we're doing it virtual. And we're all dancing at different landmarks around the city. So I'm outside the zoo, which is kind of cool. We've got the skyline in the background. What a great idea. Well, Allison, parents and students did not start this week expecting an extension of winter break, but that's pretty much what they got. And negotiations continue tonight. If both sides can't come to a deal by Monday, school will again be canceled. CTU and CPS leaders will spend their weekend around the bargaining table, working to reach an agreement that gets more than 300,000 students back in school.
I want to know, when can we get these babies tested? Because we're ready to go back in person when we are able to see that they do not have COVID.
CTU members are demanding unified protocols, including contact tracing and adequate testing before returning to the classroom. NBC5 learned Governor Pritzker offered support to the district in the form of more tests and PPE, but CPS did not accept.
Madam Mayor, if the state is giving you or offering you or asking you if you need supports, why are you not responding?
Despite a surge in Omicron, CPS says its hundreds of schools are safe and wants to handle outbreaks on a school-by-school basis. This week, the district filed a labor complaint calling the union's efforts an unlawful strike, demanding they get back to work.
There are huge consequences for even one-day disruption, let alone multi-day. And unfortunately, it doesn't feel like the union understands that.
Meantime, the pressure remains on principals, and some schools are planning for another missed week. This note from Garvey Elementary says the school will offer enrichment packets to help students pass the time. Bond Elementary shares a similar plan.
If class was not in session, that work packets would be available for parents to pick up from 9 a.m. to 3:45.
CPS leaders issued a statement tonight saying they are hopeful students will be back in class on Monday. They know families have to make plans and will be communicating updates throughout the week. And of course, we'll also be covering it. We're live in Old Town tonight. Lexi Sutter, NBC 5 News.
Let's get started with our team coverage with Lexi Sutter live at the friendly confines where Lexi, baseball is back.
That's right, Stephen. We have watched people walk around Wrigleyville all night, almost with that feeling of, is this real? Is opening day actually happening? Well, it is, but it will be a much different experience for all of us. For some fans, attending opening day is tradition.
It's a little difficult trying to get tickets, especially like this year, but I just knew I had to keep the tradition going.
For others, the start of the season carries a feeling equivalent to Christmas.
As soon as they announced that 20% of fans would be allowed back in the stadium, I literally requested April 1st off, hit Cubs.com to see what I had to do.
But getting one of those roughly 10,000 seats inside the friendly confines will cost you.
I paid $250 a ticket.
If you plan to go to the game, expect a much different Wrigley Field.
We will provide a safe, clean, and friendly environment for you to enjoy.
Ticket entry will be touchless and concessions will be cashless. Fans will be seated in a pod style and socially distanced.
I'll be at my second home tomorrow, regardless, one way or another, I'm going.
Fans are not the only ones counting down the hours. Vendors, bars, and restaurants couldn't be more ready, anxious for any boost in business.
It's going to be a smaller crowd, but we still think it's going to be crowded.
After 9 months not working, I'm back working on food and beverage and trying to sell some ice cream to all these restaurants, making sure that we get the year going right and back to normal.
And I have been checking. Tickets are still available online through different sellers, Craigslist, Facebook, etc. And of course, prices are dropping. A lot of that because the temperature keeps dropping. But as you can probably tell, we expect to see a lot of fans out here despite the weather tomorrow at 1:20. We're live outside Wrigley Field. Lexi Sutter, NBC 5 News. Michelle, right now, very quiet where I'm at. You can see just off the Michigan Avenue Bridge. Phil mentioned it, but the bridges are lifted, and that is keeping people away. They can't get to the other side or come over to the north side. But what I saw today, what unfolded and what we were in the middle of, frankly, was just heartbreaking. Police cars and property destroyed. From the Loop, where nearly every building and bus stop is marked with graffiti, to the Magnificent Mile. Broken glass litters the sidewalks and streets after several stores were looted. Say his name! The protest that was mostly peaceful for several hours today took a violent turn just before dusk. Protesters zeroed in on Trump Tower. Police formed a line to keep them back, and emotions escalated. There was pushing, shoving, and chasing. The buses and train lines were halted, and so was traffic on Lakeshore Drive, where a second protest, thousands of people began marching. Not a part of downtown was untouched. People took to the Wabash and State Street bridges, prompting the city to raise the remaining ones. One woman who was encouraging people to stay peaceful shares why she joined in.
They rode past our homes and we were just sitting there, and it brought me to tears. My daughter was like, "Can we go?" And I said, we have to do something. We've been standing and doing nothing, and people are dying, and I just can't take it anymore. I can't take it and sit back and do absolutely nothing. The only thing we can do is peacefully protest, and that's that we have to exercise our right. Because if there's no peace for one, there's no peace for any of us.
I did witness some arrests today that were happening in River North, but mostly police were trying to just disperse everybody and get everybody to stay calm and to stay safe. Superintendent David Brown did say tonight he will be arresting people who are looting those businesses that are causing damage to city and private property. We expect to hear more about that, how many people they did arrest, by tomorrow. We're live on the riverfront tonight. Lexi Sutter, NBC 5 News.
And we know you had some tense situations tonight, Lexi. We're glad you are okay. Thank you for your work tonight. An angered Mayor Lightfoot tonight
Hey, good evening. There is a celebration happening behind me here inside Haymarket Pub and Brewery, and it is for this beer. It's a new craft beer called Harold's 83 Honey Ale. This beer is all about Chicago, carrying a message that really is so much more important than a drink.
Harold's 83 Honey Ale is more than a craft beer. It is the passion, mission, and the dream of two black men.
We have recognized that there are urban people that enter craft beer, but there is no place to buy it or to really drink it on the south side of Chicago.
Now Sam Ross and Jay Westbrook are changing that. The recipe's name is a nod to Chicago's first black mayor, Harold Washington, and its honey flavor is also local, harvested from beehives in the North Lawndale neighborhood.
I felt like there was a narrative there that we could use to, partner with our own mission and make this whole thing pop.
The product is popping, and it's only day one. I spoke with the first black brewer in Texas, also passionate about breaking through the barriers that come with an overwhelmingly white industry.
Out of 8,500 breweries, there's less than, I think, 70 black-owned or even of minority ownership. So, I mean, that says a lot about how things need to change within the industry.
Marcus Baskerville of Weathered Souls Brewing in San Antonio believes marketing is partially to blame and that the black community has largely been left out of the craft beer conversation.
The brewing industry does have the potential to be inclusive. It's just a matter of creating, equality within that to create a welcoming experience for individuals.
Harold's 83 Honey Ale is made inside Haymarket Pub and Brewery, a West Loop business that stands for inclusivity.
It's always going to be a work in progress. We have a lot of work to do, and it will take all of us to come together and collaborate and talk about it, and to work towards more access to opportunities within an industry that has been predominantly white and male.
Ross and Westbrook are the living proof and hope to inspire others. Their beer's tagline, when you don't have a seat at the table, you create your own.
Use my story, give yourself hope, and get after it.
Pretty cool stuff, you guys. Now, of course, this beer available here at Haymarket. The guys are expanding to several other parts of the city as well. They tell me tonight they are just soaking this in, and I can tell you from talking to them, this is just the start. We're live in West Loop tonight. Lexi Sutter, NBC 5 News.
Impressive and important backstory. We'll have to give it a try. Thanks, Lexi.